Hello, and welcome to another Dominions 6 Quick Tips. In this one we'll be going over empowerments and how you can empower your mages through the power of gems to become better casters on the strategic map. First off, what are empowerments? Well, empowerment is an action that any commander can take as long as they are in a friendly province with a laboratory. In order to do it, you have to come in here on their order list and click magic. As far as I know, there isn't a hotkey for it, or could be wrong about that. And from there, you're on the empowerment screen. This is where you can choose which magical path to empower your commander in, and its cost in gems, pearls, or blood slaves in order to increase their magical might. This cost is usually 15 gems multiplied what level you're trying to get to. So for example, if you are level 1 and you wanted to empower your mage to level 2, that's going to cost you 30 nature gems. To get from level 2 to 3 is going to cost you 45, etc. The cost to empower a commander in a magic path they have no skill level in, so going from level 0 to 1, costs 50 gems. You can empower as much as you like, you can even go past level 10 if you really want to, which can be useful in some cases for things like globals and dispelling, but it is very costly in magical gems and you could just add that to the dispelling or the ritual itself. So why would you want to empower one of your commanders given that it costs so much? Well, the first reason is obviously to give yourself magical access to a path you do not otherwise have access to. Normally, you're limited to the magical paths that you have nationally and the ones that you can recruit from indie provinces you take over, whereas empowerment allows you to increase your magical paths that you either already have or add new ones to potentially unlock powerful cross-path opportunities. To illustrate this, I have empowered some eunuchs for demonstration purposes. Just ignore the fact that I'm playing middle-aged T&She and imagine instead that we're playing any nation. This advice can go for any nation in the game. If we were, say, like a nation with no national nature magic access, and we didn't have access to, say, like some of the independents here, like with our wolf tribe shamans, who were able to get nature level 1, but we really wanted to get to nature level 1 in order to make, say, some boots of the messenger, then empowering one of your commanders or mages in nature is really the only way to do that, rather than trading for it. So if we took one of our commanders here, say Lei Gong, and we wanted to empower him up into nature level 1, it's going to cost us 50 nature gems, and it's going to take us a wee turn. And then we'll end the turn, and he successfully empowered himself in nature, and we can see now he is a nature level 1 mage. While 50 gems is a pretty steep investment on certain nations, it does make a lot of sense. Let's say imagine, for example, that you were playing middle-aged Ulm. In this example, you wanted to empower one of your master smiths to nature 1. That's going to cost you 50 nature gems, and now you can make your boots of a messenger. Instead of it being 5 gems a pop, it's now going to be 3, and then if you give him a hammer, it costs 1. It is a steep initial cost in nature gems, but it does mean that you're able to then really kickstart your magical item economy. Empowerment is also great for reaching certain forging milestones to enable further boosting of your mages, and as well for letting you get in to additional magic paths. Let's take our nature 1 mage that we had before. If we then empower them to nature 2, for example, which was going to cost us 30 nature gems, which we will do just now. He successfully empowered himself in nature. He's now nature level 2. Great. Now he's now capable of forging himself a thistle mace, which is very good. We'll give him that thistle mace, and all of a sudden now he is nature level 3. That's really nice. It's better to do it this way than just purely through empowering, just due to the cost. Thistle mace itself costs 10 nature gems to make, whereas in order to empower from level 2 to level 3, that was going to cost us 45 nature gems. Obviously, the benefits of empowerment is that it's permanent. That guy's always going to be nature 3, whereas he's only nature 3 while we have the thistle mace. It's just very costly in nature gems. Now that he's nature level 3, we can go ahead and cast something like Forest Troll Tribe. That's going to let us break into death with a potentially death 2 troll, who's then able to make things like Skull Staff, Sight Search for us, break us into death on a nation that otherwise wouldn't be able to have it, all through empowerments, which is a great thing to get on certain nations, especially ones that want to improve their magical diversity. Empowerments are also a way of reaching important battle-wide spells, if you have no other way of path boosting up your mages. Let's take Fei Lan here, who is an Air 2 mage. If we empower him, in order to get him up to Air level 3 for the cost of 45 Air gems, he's now successfully empowered himself in Air, he's now Air level 3, we can now give him some Air gems, and we can script him to, say, cast Storm. With those Air gems, we now have a Stormcaster, whereas before we didn't. We can then use him with, say, level 1 Air mages to make them level 2, and we can suddenly start getting to things like Mass Lightning, Spam, that kind of stuff. The most important thing is that now we have a reliable Stormcaster for our armies. He just needs a couple of magical gems on top of the empowerment. And this can really help us, or really hinder enemy nations that are, say, really reliant on their archers or flyers, for example, who don't have storm immunity. If you have spells you need to script, and you can't use communions or boosters to get there, empowerments are a very helpful way of filling that hole in your scripting requirements. Finally, empowering your mundane commanders and blood is actually a decent way to improve your blood economy, though this is noticeably worse in Dominion 6 in comparison to 5 due to the changes in blood hunting chances. Commanders with no blood magic are very poor blood hunters, but if you get enough of them, they'll eventually give you 50 blood slaves. You can then empower them for those 50 blood slaves to make them blood level 1. Now that he's level 1, if we wanted him to, and we had some additional blood slaves, we could then make a sanguine dowsing rod. That makes him effectively a blood level 2 for collecting blood slaves. He's now a much better blood hunter. Given the fact as well that blood slaves are much more plentiful than most other gems, obviously I'm using debug mode at the moment, so let's not take into account how many gems I have, but you'll usually have more blood slaves than you will have of other gems of other types. This means you can effectively empower quite a lot of mundane people into blood hunters to really kickstart your blood economy. Now, the potential downsides of empowerment are mostly for blood or astral mages. When you empower in blood magic, there's a small chance that your commander gets horror marked, which is really not going to extend their life expectancy. This can then open them up to horror assassination events and cause you to lose your mage and the investment into them. This is another reason as well why you probably shouldn't empower your pretender in blood. If you want to give them blood, have it on the pretender designer mode rather than empowering them up in the game. You don't want your pretender being horror marked. Additionally, there's also the issue of empowering a mage in astral. So say if we took Fan Q here and we empowered him in astral, this is great because now he has the nature astral cross path. However, this opens him up to one specific spell in battle, and that is, of course, Magic Duel. He's now an Astral level 1 mage, which means he can be magic dueled by any of the enemy Astral mages in battle, which is a very easy way for them to kill him. And that's you just lost 50 Astral Pearls right there and then. Obviously not as much of a problem if you're keeping him safe on the backline, but it's just something to think about. Don't empower your pretender so they have like Astral level 1, because it just opens them up to getting magic dueled and killed. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so that's a brief overview on empowerments and why they might be useful for you in your game, and at least give you something to think about. Hopefully this quick tips was very useful to you. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything in particular you want me to go over in the future, and I'll try and get around to doing that when I can. I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and a big thank you to all the members of the Burger Band who are supporting the channel and supporting getting videos like this out. If you want to become a member of the Burger Band, you can do it through YouTube, and they'll give you access to videos as soon as they're uploaded, instead of when their schedules come out, as well as some other benefits as well. But most importantly, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful, and until next time, take care.